Hello, everybody. How are you? How is everything in your world? I hope good. Guys, it's time for another Lyrics Explained. Now, that's where I break down the lyrics of your favorite songs so that you can enjoy them even more. We're going right to the country charts this time with a fast raising song. It's Maren Morris and the song Girl. Let's jump right into it, and then we'll explain as we go to find out what's going on. She comes in with verse 1. Man, this stuff's unflattering, all up in my head again. I don't feel myself right now. Maybe I should just lay down. If vanity's my vitamin, well, I don't feel the difference. I don't like myself right now. Gotta find a way out. Let's do the pre-chorus and I'll come back. What you feel is natural, but I don't want to feel this anymore. Pick yourself up off the kitchen floor. What you waiting for? What this song is about is cooking with onions and not taking the precautions or not taking any steps at all to prevent the onion cutting from making you cry. It's impossible. You can't stop it. And there's a couple things you can do. We'll talk about it. But that's what she's saying. Man, this is unflattering. I'm all up in my head again. I don't feel myself right now. Maybe I should just lay down. She starts cutting the onions and she says, this time it's not going to be a problem. It's just one of those things that happens. No, it happens every time. And that's where if vanity meets my vitamin comes in. She has the vanity that she's going to get away with it this time. We've all done it. Maybe you're making a hamburger. Maybe you're making something quick. You just need some chopped onions. You say, oh, it won't be a problem. It's not going to be this time. I'm just going to be fast. That's what you say to yourself. I'm just going to be fast. Next thing you know, you're bawling your eyes out with pain. Okay? If vanity is my vitamin, well, I don't feel the difference until oh, I don't feel like myself right now. Got to find a way out. You're like, oh man, and it sneaks up on you. It's not your fault, man, because everybody tries to get away with it, and we don't. And that's what they're saying. What you feel is natural. But I don't want to feel this anymore. Of course not. You're stumbling around the kitchen. Somebody spray me with some water bottles. You sticking your head under the tap. You go outside on the back porch. You're running around in the winter. If it's snow, you're stuffing snow into your eyes. Then pick yourself up off the kitchen floor. What you waiting for? You're writhing around. You're laying down on the kitchen floor, writhing around in pain. All right, let's go into the chorus. Girl, won't you stop your crying? I know that you're trying. Everything's going to be okay. Baby girl, don't hang your head low. Don't you lose your halo. Everything's going to be okay, baby girl. Get off the kitchen floor. Stop your crying. I know you're trying. And she's saying, basically talking to herself, but also in the context of the song. Remember, we've said so many times that these songs have multiple layers. So she's both talking to herself and in that process speaking to you, the listener of the song. Baby girl, don't hang your head low. Don't you lose your halo. So she's saying keep your composure. If you can, if it gets bad enough, you might have to dial 911. Now, you may not be able to do that because you can't see. So it helps to memorize the positioning of the numbers on your particular dial pad on your smartphone in case you need to call for paramedics. All right. But what she's saying is, won't you stop your crying? I know that you're trying. Everything's going to be okay. So at a certain point, when the onions hit you and it overwhelms your system, you can't. You're going to be okay. It's almost a mental game. You have to keep telling yourself, everything's going to be all right. My eyes feel like hot burning coals are inside my head and I can't seem to get rid of them. I can't pry them out with my fingers. I'd like to pry my eyeballs out of my head with my fingers, but I can't because I'm going to need my eyeballs later when the pain goes away. Okay? But so you almost have to play a mental game, and this is where mental strength comes in, and self-esteem. Because if you have the self-esteem and the mental strength, you can talk yourself through it. Say, I've been through bad things before. I've been through difficulties before, and I've worked my way through them. And that's what I'm going to do here with these onions that make my eyes feel like fireballs. Okay, that's what she's saying in the chorus. So what can you do? Here's what you should do. I mean, first of all, you need to use a very sharp knife, okay? A lot of times people use a knife that they got on their wedding as a wedding gift, and they haven't sharpened it since. You know those guys on TV, they're whack, whack, whack. Well, that's what you should be doing. That's what that sharpener is in that butcher block. You just use it to whack bugs with. No, that's a knife sharpener. So use a sharp knife. What you can do is put them in the freezer for 10 to 15 minutes. Now what that does is it calms the onions down. Onions are sort of like your friend that is on the tip of yelling at everybody in traffic at all times. Okay, and so when onions are cut, it releases all that emotional anger and it comes right into your eyes. But if you put them in the freezer for 10 to 15 minutes, it's going to freeze that anger. It's going to make the onions calmer, all right? What you could try to do is cut them underwater. So you could cut the onion underwater. Now that means you and the onion, everything underwater. So if you have a pool, if you have a one of those regular pool, like backyard pool, or if you have an above ground pool, that'll work too. It's just that most of the above ground pools are maybe 3 feet high, and some of you are a little taller. It's going to be a problem to get completely submerged. But if you can jump in the pool with the knife and with the onions and with the cutting boards, cut the onions submerged. Now, of course, be careful because you don't want to drown. You want to be able to breathe. So just go under for like 5 seconds, cut the onions, and then come back up and get some air. Don't try to push it, all right? But if you do that, what that does is, let's see. I'm reading my research here. Okay, so what it does is it's along the lines of freezing, but what the water does is calm down the onions, but it also rinses them as you're cutting. So every time the blade goes through the onion, it rinses the onion slice, which takes away a lot of the power. Then also, if it emits any gases, those gases are contained by the water and are away from your eyes. So jump in the pool. It's going to take probably 4 or 5 hours to cut the onions this way. That's the disadvantage, because you're gonna get your fingers will get wrinkly from being in the water, right? The tips of your fingers will make it harder to hold on to the knife. All right, some other tips: breathe through your mouth. So if you feel like the gases from the onion, the smells and this overpowering tear duct launching power of the onion is getting too much, try to breathe through your mouth, because that way you're not getting your nose involved, which is multiplying the effect of the crying of your eyes. All right. Yeah, there's some other minor tips here through my research that are maybe like, here's one. You could put some bread in your mouth, all right? So if you have any sandwich bread, if you have any French bread, put some bread in your mouth, because chewing helps remove the tears, okay? So maybe as big a bread as you can stick in your mouth. Just stick the whole thing and put it in there, and then try to chew, and that will help remove the tear duct launching mechanism that is inherent in onions. We don't know. God works in mysterious ways. We don't know why he came up with this plan of cutting, of making you cry every time that you cut onions. But we have to operate within a mysterious world, and that's what Maren Morris is singing about in the song Girl. Then right into verse 2, draw your comparisons, trying to find out who's lesser than. I don't want to wear your crown, there's enough to go around. So at this point, she's addressing the onion itself. So she's saying to the onions themselves, draw your comparisons, trying to find out who's lesser than. So it's almost like a clapback, honestly, because what the onion is saying is, I control you. I have the power over you. And she's saying, it's almost a soft clapback, because she's saying, hey, draw your comparisons. You can compare me against other people cutting onions, trying to find out who is less affected by them. But she's saying, I don't want to wear a crown. I don't want to compete with other people on who's going to cry less from the cutting of the onions. There's enough to go around. And so that is again, this goes back to the mental strength of of Maren Morris. And it probably stems from her time on the road, coming up in the country music business. You have to deploy two things: patience and aggressiveness at the same time. So you have to have the patience because it's a long haul, but then you have to have aggressiveness by getting your music out there, saying to people, hey, listen to this. If you like it, there's more where that came from. Getting agents, getting representation, doing all the, getting a label deal, record deal at the label, doing all those things. So it's the two sides of that coin that she is responding to when she gets this aggressive reaction, this aggressive attack from the onions. She's using her mental strength to address that by saying, you can draw your comparisons between me and other people, but I am not going to do it. I don't want to wear your crown. I have a crown of my own based on my own self-esteem and my own self-awareness that I have certain strengths, and I've acted on those in my life. And then right into pre-chorus 2, what you feel is natural, but you don't got to put up with this anymore. Pick yourself up off the kitchen floor. Tell me what you're waiting for. So they repeat there. All right. And it goes on from there. Guys, it's really a self-empowering song. Once you know the context of these lyrics, it's a very self-empowering song that'll help you not only protect yourself against these attacks by onions, that is such a natural thing that has been going on for thousands of years, that we still have not come up with a foolproof pill that you can take before you cut the onions. But if you have the mental strength and the mindset that Maren Morris has, you can deal with it better than ever before.